This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Well, joining us today is Mike Whitlow, the COO of ECR Minerals. Thank you very much for your time as always, Mike. How are you?
I'm very well. Absolute pleasure to be back, Mark.
Good indeed. Well, of course, following up on the news that was released last week from ECR, quite a few, I think pretty much all the projects were covered. So I'd just like to go over each of them briefly, get a bit of a state of the nation as to where each one is and what's going on. So if we start with Creswick and, of course, Kuboid Hill. So you've been doing some final bulk sampling results there. So just tell us a bit about what's been going on there. This is the sort of the whole of bag idea, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. We found that sampling methods used historically perhaps give mixed results, and we felt that employing these new sort of whole of the bag sample or bulk sample method would give a bigger sample size, and we could get a bit more accuracy in the results that we were delivering to market. We're pleased to see that this sort of wider mineralized footprint is expanding within the Kuboid Hill area, and we saw some of the samples that perhaps didn't look overly encouraging have been boosted quite considerably from the bulk sampling. So, this is an addition to the already positive announcement that we put out on Kuboid Hill.
Okay, and of course you've had those sort of big nuggets, haven't you? Those nice big samples that you've got there, 1 meter at 1 gram per ton, and also 1 meter at 8.37 grams per ton. But is the idea with the whole of bag or the bulk sampling that to try and get more of a sense of what's there, because it is this sort of nuggety effect? So it's perhaps not consistent. If you might find a vein, for example, it is more kind of nuggety. How do you deal with that situation?
Yeah, look, what we found at Davy Road is we were getting very, very, very high grade gold. It was in sort of a narrow vein quartz structure. That's historically been quite challenging. You hit a home run and then you hit a couple of duds, and it's kind of been a real mixed bag. We had not seen this kind of geology around Creswick prior to the results from Kuboid Hill, and it's a very different footprint. It shows that we've got a really broad, wider, mineralized, lower grade material accompanied by these high grade gold pockets. So yeah, okay. I mean it's an encouraging breakthrough rather for us at Creswick, and these recent results further boost what we already believed from the initial announcement at Kuboid Hill.
Okay, good. So what will be the plan at Kuboid Hill then to take it forward?
In the current sort of season, we're pretty chocker, as I'm sure you're aware. So we've moved on in Victoria. We've already been out down to Tambo. We've done some work there, and we've got a drill program planned, assuming results substantiate that for Tambo. And of course, we're heading up to Queensland, and there's a really busy schedule ongoing there. So we'll revisit Creswick in due course. We've got some core from historical drilling from Victoria at Ballaston that's being tested for antimony. So that's out with the laboratory. We've got the results from Tambo from the recent field campaign down there, which again are out at the laboratory. And in order to overcome some of the delays that we've had regarding the more recent results at Kuboid Hill, we're now sort of trialling some photon analysis, which is being used by Fosterville and a number of the much bigger players around the Victoria region too. So we'll get back to Creswick and Ballaston in due course, but we've got a very busy summer schedule ahead of us, which should involve force reconnaissance sampling to better understand the area up in Queensland. But also, we'd like to be trenching, starting to, use a small scale plant to process some material, or get some subsurface data, so we can look at drilling up in Queensland as well. So yeah, we've got a very sort of busy schedule ahead of us, Mark.
It sounds like it. It sounds to me like you're doing a lot of work on all of the projects here throughout the course of the summer, and then effectively will you sort of go back to the drawing board, look at what you've got, and then make further decisions as we go into the autumn about where to do follow-up work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we can pretty much operate around Creswick all year round.
Okay.
Queensland's slightly different. There's a season, and I think it was November last year where the heavy rains come and things get a bit more challenging. So, what you have to do is you have to prioritize your work and schedule things in an order so that we can, maintain and retain a busy and an active period in front of us. And look, some of the things that we did, disposing of non-core assets, raising capital, all of the things at the time that perhaps, people didn't fully appreciate, that was to give us this opportunity to be able to, agitate the assets and stimulate the market with the news. We're not going to get it right all of the time, and I've been criticised for this. Mike, you shouldn't caution people on the risk, but I think what I understand is in the role that I have, if I comment and I don't sort of give a two-sided or a balanced view, you put yourself in a precarious position. So yes, I'm very, very optimistic, and I'm thrilled with where the company is right now. And I'm very, very confident that we can deliver a real bang for the buck. We're not looking to build a £5 million market cap company here. We're looking to get back to 20, 30 million quid. We're looking to try and get people back on a level playing field. And in order to do that, we need to really start to boost the activity of the business, look at the opportunities with our accumulated tax losses. And we're employing a strategy there in order to try and unlock some value there. If we've got other non-core assets like Brewing Lane, let's move them on. Let's get some additional capital that we can sink in elsewhere. And of course, we've had a number of meaningful ongoing conversations with people inside and outside of Australia. And we're looking at, additional opportunities. For us to get to where we need to be, it cannot just simply be sentiment driven. It has to be driven based on results and, a growing asset base. And that's where we are targeting to take the company.
Excellent. Okay, well, we've talked pretty much about all the projects. So we've covered Victoria, Tambo, you're waiting for those photon assays, Baillieston, ongoing reanalysis for the antimony credits that are there. In Queensland, then, you have got you've got soil sampling underway at Lulworth. But at Blue Mountain, I think you mentioned trenching. Are you expecting to get on the ground fairly soon? Where's the next sort of focus of the work programme?
Yeah, absolutely. So Queensland, the guys have been out for 2 or 3 weeks. They're out on the eastern side of our tenement area. You've got to remember that we've got about 700 square kilometres in Victoria and over 1,000 square kilometres in Queensland. So it's a very, very vast area in both jurisdictions. Those guys are out there. We're going to start looking at the niobium and tantalum and expanding that rare earth aspect, of the 2023 campaign, and we'll get some more data there. But yeah, Blue Mountain, Adam will be en route in the next week, I think, and we hope then to be able to get subsurface, start to use a small scale plant there, and to run a little pilot project, and hopefully we can show investors some gold. And if we can get anywhere near the sort of, the 80,000, 100,000 ounce mark, that would be, I think, a considerable step forward, in the history of ECR, and the value of that should be enough to encapsulate the market's interest. But, we're not sort of reinventing the wheel here, Mark. The previous people that we acquired the asset from had already done a very, very short campaign up there, and we intend to continue on with that. And hopefully, if the results go in our favour, and we're very confident they will, but there's no guarantee. Let's see whether we can get an inferred resource and get some of that sort of shiny yellow metal up and get people clucking again.
Excellent. So maybe next week then we can be looking out for some news of Adam getting on the ground over at Blue Mountain. Maybe we can, if possible,
bit of a drive, but yes, he should be there at some point between the 12th and 13th of June, and then we will afford him a day or two to get boots on the ground. But yeah, we hope to be able to demonstrate to the market what it is we intend to do. Circumstances permitting, but there's a lot for us to do. I mean, Adam's identified a number of opportunities up there, and we'll go out and see whether we can, swing the baton and get a few runs up on the board for the shareholding community who've been extremely patient.
Okay, indeed. And of course, you, from the RNS as well, stating that you are fully funded for all these work programs throughout the course of this year.
We're absolutely funded for all of the work that we've conducted down in Victoria and in Queensland. And potentially, we can stretch things out a little bit further because, the board of directors haven't taken remuneration other than a share-based payment since we joined the company. And whilst I've been reminded of this, Nick and I do take a meagre £1,000 a month for our services. We're fully aligned with shareholders and have become substantial stakeholders in the business. I think the next set of shares will be issued to us at the recent funding price of 0.30 pence. So we're at a bit of a discount to that, but I'm, not worried. And yeah, we'll continue to build a stake alongside shareholders, and hopefully they'll see that we're aligned and in the trenches with them. So we're very confident, and as a result of the deferred payments, we can probably stretch out a little bit further than we've guided the market. But let's not get ahead of ourselves at this point.
No. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mike, for that update. That's a very comprehensive overview of where everything is. Hopefully we can have a catch-up maybe with Adam when he's on site next week and just get an idea of what he's looking for, what the work programme will look like. But certainly looking forward to following the various bits of news that I would anticipate would come out from each of these work programmes throughout the course of the summer, and then consolidating all of that and having a look at where to go next. But for now, thank you very much for your time.
No problem, Mark. Thanks for your time too, and yeah, we'll be back in touch in the not too distant future. Take it easy.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like, or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programmes at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.